Hey guys, welcome to live 365 day 2. You wouldn't believe it, but this is actually the 4th time that I've tried recording this, and there's a reason I'm not actually doing it live on Facebook, and that's because the first 3 times were tried to be done live on Facebook. I finished this whole live and then it didn't upload. So I'm just doing it recorded and I'm going to post it up. So it's a little bit cheating, but it's sort of not as well. Today, what I wanted to do is have a little follow-on from yesterday, right? So I would love to sort of just delve a little bit more into, you know, my story and why I'm here. And my hope for this is not that, you know, you will all go, oh, Danny, what a great story. It's more just like, I hope that there's just a little, maybe a nugget or a little spark in your head that goes, oh yeah, maybe that might be an idea for me. I joke, I don't want to be, you know, the next Tony Robbins. I don't want to be the next big motivational speaker, but I think, I always appreciate if someone sort of tells me that, you know, hey, they made this little move and their life became better. So I just kind of want to tell you about my journey. So I'll start from the beginning. My mother and father, no. So I was born on the Gold Coast. You know, I remember a story vividly. My mum used to tell me when I was a kid, we'd be driving down the M1 and she used to say, and I used to say to mum and dad, I used to say, how come we're not first on the road? Like, you know, what? Weird kid. But basically, like, I think that's where my whole competitive nature came from. My whole, like, wanting to succeed, wanting to win. It was with me from literally from a kid. And I don't know where it came from, because my mum and dad aren't super competitive like me. But, you know, even as a kid, like, I was competitive. I wanted to win. I wanted to win big. Like, I remember then when I was a little kid playing basketball, like, the coach would say, oh, hey, we're winning by a whole heap. Maybe you should go easy on this team. And, you know, my internal thing was going, nah, stuff that. Like, I want to win, and I want to win by a heap of points. Like, if I'm going to win, I'm going to win right. And, you know, it's funny because when we're young, we dream super big, right? Like, you know, let's just go the typical stuff. Oh, I dream of being an astronaut, or I dream of being a fireman. I actually dreamt of being a professional golfer. And I had all those motivations that you know, most kids have. Like, I want to be rich. I want to have the fast cars. I want to have the big house. And when I say kid, you know, I'm a little bit of an older kid at this point, thinking about all that stuff. I want to have the Lamborghini or whatever. But, you know, I dreamed big, and that unfortunately sort of died off a little bit, I think, as I got older. You know, I got into high school, and, you know, we're sort of taught that we just need to go out and get a good job and get a well-paying job and work hard and, you know, buy a house and follow the rules, and you'll get ahead in life. And I think I just kind of got blinders on and just sort of started, I guess, accepting that life a little bit, and just going, okay, well, yeah, maybe I do have to put my dreams on hold, and I just kind of have to get a bit real with life. I mean, my dream of being a professional golfer wasn't put on hold because of that. I think it was more put on hold because I was a professional dummy spinner and club thrower. But, you know, I got to a point during high school, and it's like, well, what do you want to do with your life? And, like, my whole focus was, I just want to do something that makes me money, right? Like, I wasn't in love with anything. Like, first I wanted to be a podiatrist, and then I wanted to be an accountant, and then I wanted to be a physio. And anyway, I went to uni and I started the physio course, and did a year of it, and it wasn't me. It just wasn't me at that point in my life. I just wasn't interested in it. And so, you know, basically I went and I got a sales job because I was a good talker. I liked talking, and I got a sales job with BMW. I was actually one of the youngest members of the team, the youngest member of the team, and I was selling BMWs for about 2 years. So this was sort of in my late teens, early 20s. And I thought that was my dream job. Like, it made good money, and especially if you're a really good salesman, you make really good money. But, you know, it just wasn't doing it for me. I put it down to, I had no emotional intelligence at that age, right? Like, you're dealing in sales and a sales environment and constant sell. You've got to be a very strong emotional person, and you've got to be very, very focused on a goal. And I just didn't have that back then. Like, I was too young. I was, just thinking about drinking on the weekends and, girls and cars and all the stuff that young guys think of. So I ended up giving that up, and I, like anyone does when they just don't know what they want to do, because I still didn't know what I wanted to do. Like, this has been sort of like, so from when like age 15 to sort of 21, I've been through like uni, I've been through another job that I thought was my career, and I'm a bit sort of lost in the world. And I went and saw a career counsellor, and, you know, she said to me, oh, you should be you should get into project management because you've got good leadership skills and whatever. And at that point in time, you know, I was like, what's a project manager? Like, I don't really care about construction. Like, it just is what it is, right? So I just did it because, like, I probably Googled it and I was like, oh yeah, geez, project managers, they earn decent coin, so yeah, I'll definitely do it. So, like, at this point in time, I've had that mentality when I was a kid of like aiming super high, and then like it's just kind of gone down, and I'm just sort of going through the motions of life. Like, yeah, I'll just get a high paying job, buy a house, you know, have a nice car, blah 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 blah. But I think what was sort of always there for me was this feeling of like, and I don't mean to say this in any way that's negative, but like, I've never wanted the white picket fence house and life. Like, I've never wanted that. It's just not me, right? I just sort of see the white picket fence as just, I don't know, like, I don't want to say boring, but it's just not me. It's just not me, right? And it's funny, I actually said to my coach the other day, I said to her, sometimes I just wish that I loved the white picket fence life, or I wanted the white picket fence life, because I think my life would be so much simpler, right? Like, instead of going to bed at, you know, 11:30 after sitting there banging stuff out on the computer and my head's going and then reading books about business and bloody mindset and whatever, I would just be more content. But, you know, this is who I am, and this is what gives me my juice. So basically, my backstory. So we've been going through life. You know, I'm at this point, and I think I want to be rich, or like, oh, I know I want to be rich. But when I was younger, it was a much bigger thing in my mind. And then as I went on, I just kind of lost a bit of sight of that. And I knew I wanted all these external things, like I wanted a Porsche, and I've gone over this stuff heaps. And I kind of had these internal things, like I always had them. You know, I want to have a family, and I want to be able to support my family, and I just wanted those things. But they're very surface level. Like, I think it's very surface level to say an internal thing is to support your family, but it's like, well, why do you want to do that? You know, obviously to keep them healthy and this and that, but then there's this more, there's why, and if you keep going down into your why, you get to that root cause, right? And I was just playing surface level stuff, I think, at that point in time. And so back to the actual story. So I was going through life. I finished my degree. I got a job with someone as a project manager. Then I went out on my own, and fast forward. You know, here I am today. But a couple of years ago, I hit this wall. Like, literally, it was just like bonk. Done. Now I need to do something. I've just hit a wall. Like, what I'm doing is it's just not juicing me, right? Like, I just feel like I've got these blinders on, and I'm just like life's going by, and I'm just going, but like, I'm not even heading for anything. Like, it's just kind of, I'm just driving down the road, and you know, I woke up this one morning, and I remember it, like, it must have been in about August or something. Yeah, it would have been in August. And I woke up this one morning, and I was like, hungover, like, had a big night with the boys, big night with the boys. And I'd gotten home early in the morning, and I'd woken up like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I was hungover as hell, and I was just literally laying in bed, oh, kill me. We've all been there, right? My head. And so I woke up, and I was like, something's got to give, right? I'm too old to do this shit. Like, I can't just be going out and just like, what am I doing in life? What am I doing in life? We all say that when we drink, like, why am I doing this to myself? But it was literally like a light bulb went bung, and I was like, what am I doing with myself? You know, I go out and I enjoy my weekends and I have fun and that, but then it's just the same old thing, and I'm just going down this road with no end in sight. And it was that moment that I just said to myself, all right, something's got to change, right? And I thought to myself, like, what do successful people do? You know, what do people that are happy do? And do you want to know what it is? They put themselves outside of their comfort zone because they go searching for it, right? So literally, it was August, so the middle of winter for us in Australia. And I jumped up out of bed, hungover, scalded in water, probably broke, and jumped straight in the pool, freezing, like just jumped in, splash, come up, freezing. But it was awesome because it was sort of like, it was sort of like washing myself clean, a new start, right? But good hangover cure too, just FYI. Jump in a freezing cold pool. So jumped in the pool, got out, and I was like, no, that's it. I'm on this new path. Something's got to change. Like, life just can't keep going on with like blinders on, right? So I started going down this road, and it was a road of, personal development. So like lots of reading and lots of reflection and seminars, and I got myself a coach and mentors and like friends that I was hanging around with, and we were talking a lot about like goal setting and that sort of thing, which I hadn't really done before. People talk about goals and people talk about this and that and that. And I kind of thought, I set one on the 1st of January and then never stick to it. But, it was more just giving my life some direction, right? And what was funny was, at this point in time, I'd probably achieved quite a lot if we'd rewound, say, 7 or 8 years before with what I was actually wanting to achieve. But I got to this point where like I'd kind of achieved like a well-paying job, right? But that just wasn't juicing me. It wasn't enough. And it was because I just never put thought into it. And I really put it down to the fact that like I kind of just settled for that. Like, it was never me. I just kind of settled for a white picket fence life, but it was never what I wanted. So started on this journey, and it was awesome. I was learning so much. I was learning about me. I was learning to like actually, when I do something, to understand like my thoughts and how to control them, and putting myself in like a peak state. Yes, that sort of stuff. And really enjoying it. But I still just sort of like, I don't know. There was just still like a piece missing. Have you ever just sort of felt like, yeah, this is awesome, but I kind of just don't, it's just not grabbing, right? And then one day I picked up it was a book. I picked up a book, right? And it was a Tony Robbins thing. I always go on about him, but it's for no other reason that it just resonates with me, right? So I picked up this book, and it talks about something called the 6 human needs. And so I read this thing, and literally, light bulb, bang, again. And I was like, I love this light bulb. I love it. Think the light bulb, if you've, it's just one of those things where it just feels like all of a sudden, everything comes together and works. It's sort of like you've been trying to understand this thing, and someone finally explains it to you in a way, and you're just like, I get it now. An example, like, I've just started back at the gym, and I've got an exercise physiologist who's helping me, and so we started doing some squats just the other day. Anyway, so he's watching me do it, and he's like, oh, mate, just, maybe try bend this way a little bit more or whatever. And anyway, so I've done this squat, bending the way he is, done this squat, come up, and I'm like, oh, man, I feel so much stronger. I've never, ever felt like this in my life. Like, what? A squat actually engages your glutes? I've only ever felt it in my quads. And I've done thousands of squats, right? And, not that I'm a super gym guy, but back in the day I used to, until I hurt my back. But anyway, so I just did this squat, and I felt it, and I was like, man, I've been doing it wrong this whole time. It was like, bing, another light bulb. But not as awesome. Like, a squat's not that cool. Boom. So anyway, yeah, it's like that, right? Like, you've been doing something like the same way the whole way, and then you just make this slight shift, and it works. And that's exactly what, when I read these 6 human needs, it made sense to me, right? So like, it was that epiphany that I had of like, I get it now. Like, I get why things happen the way they do for me. And let me just quickly explain it to you. So what it is, right, is like that there's 6 human needs in life, and everyone has those in different orders, right? So, and every decision that we make is based on us trying to fulfill the order of those needs. So the needs are love, certainty, uncertainty, variety. They are significance, growth, and contribution, right? So love is feeling loved or giving love. Certainty is like knowing what's going to happen. Uncertainty is having some variety, so maybe not knowing what's going to happen. Significance is feeling wanted and needed. The growth is like personal growth, so like constantly striving to learn and grow and become more. And contribution is basically like contributing, so giving away and a greater good of helping, right? So anyway, so I'll let you guys in on it. I'll tell you, I'm cards on the table. My top two are, number one is growth, and number two is significance. And sometimes people say that the people that have got growth and significance as their one and two, they can be quite self-absorbed. So that's something that, like, when I reflected back on my life, I'm like, well, hang on, maybe I can be a bit that way. No, actually, I can be that way. So, it helped me to shift and make slight changes and go, all right, Danny, stop just thinking of yourself so much, and not meaning to. I wasn't meaning to, but I can see how my actions might have come across that way. So just making those slight shifts, right, and improving your life that way. And what it also gave me was going, all right, if growth's so important to me, I need to go back to how I was as a little kid. Like, light bulb, I need to go back to how I was as a little kid and just have these like outrageous dreams. But they're not outrageous, they're achievable. I know they're achievable, because if I just set my mind to it and do everything I can and mirror someone else's that's already done it, then I can do it too. Like, I've just got that drive, right? And significance, it sounds bad. I don't want to just feel significant. I want to feel like what I'm doing is helping. So like, I want people to just potentially look up, I want my daughter to look up to me as like a mentor. I want to help people, and for them to look up to me and go, hey, Danny, like, hearing you talk, or when you tell me stuff, it's really helping. Like, that's you might say that that's sort of a bit like, I don't even know the word, but how bad is that? I need to get back on my keto. I've been having all these brain fog. So anyway, we'll go past that. But so I finally figured this out, and it was like, this massive epiphany, right? And it was like growth and significance. Like, this is where my life needs to head. Like, I need to be constantly growing. In the personal development world, they say, if you're not growing, you're dead. No, I totally agree with that. Like, I just couldn't be the type of person that just goes, okay, now I've got a job and now I'm just going to keep going, right? Like, and I think that's where like my life was for so long. Like, I was just doing, like, yeah, things were growing, but I wasn't actively doing it. And that's why I didn't feel content. Like, that's why I didn't feel content. I was just like, I wasn't feeding my significance. So now what I've got is I've got all these external and I've got these internal goals. Like, I've got these external ones, like you guys know, I want the house in Beverly Hills, and I know if I close my eyes, I can picture it. I want the 1968 Porsche 911. I want the house in Amsterdam. I want a personal chef. I want to own a coffee shop. Like, I've got all these external things, but then I've also got all these internal things now, and I really know my why. Like, one of them is that I just have to give my daughter everything in life that she deserves. But I have to teach her the right way of doing things too. Like, I just don't want to give everything to her. I want her to learn the lessons and just be the best person she can be. And that took a lot of digging. That sounds dumb, but it took digging to kind of go, why? Like, why do I want the big house? I want the big house because it makes me feel significant and it shows that I've grown. But I also want it because, if I can have a personal chef, then that means I can have more time with her, which means that, I can help her grow, and her growing means me growing. So do you guys kind of get that? So, I went on this journey. Like, I started as a kid and had all these dreams and aspirations, and they just sort of out, just to society saying you just got to get a good paying job and you got to do this and you got to do that. And then I just continued on life, and I achieved those things. Like, I achieved a good paying job, but it wasn't enough until I had that epiphany, and I was like, you know what? There's more to life, and it's to fulfill what I want, like my needs, my internal desires. I know what those are now, and it gives me this laser focus, of that's what I want. So thank you for listening. I hope I haven't scared you guys too much. It's something I'm obviously pretty passionate about. I just think there's so many of us that are sort of, like I say, we've got these blinders on, and like something will happen and we'll react in a certain way, and we never even look back and go, well, why did I react in that way? How could have I improved that situation? What could have I done to make it not affect me so much? So thank you. I'm signing off. 20 minutes and 10 seconds. I don't think every day will be this long, not for 363 more. So thanks, guys. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.